Greetings and joining us on this broadcast. All right, this might be, I guess they're all kind of strange. Like I said, it doesn't matter. So this is Iran, Atlantis of the Sands. That might not make any sense, but we're just gonna put that in the title anyway. Relationships and Pleiadian Society. I was gonna put relationships first, but I don't want to ruin anyone's day. So, but Iran, I don't know. I keep getting this Atlantis vibe from Iran. Doesn't mean that Iran is Atlantis, but has a lot of Atlantean influences that are same as Greece. But when you look at history, or Greece became more barbaric, more like reptilian like when it got taken over. But Iran, I don't think was all that bad. I think even their army was of that. They had an army, but it wasn't much of an army. It's actually, I mean, they were very much into luxury. We can go by what you feel and that, but it feel, and even because I looked up, I forgot. I think I looked up Iran, Atlantis, and found Atlantis of the Sands. What's been described as, I didn't go to deep. I didn't look into that deeply, but yeah, and so like Israel is more Anunnaki. Israel does not like Iran at all, and Iran's been taken over many times, and it's been messed with a lot. But when you remove the manipulation, I don't think Iran's that bad. I believe there's a lot of information there that they don't want out there. That's why they beat the crap out of it all the time. I mean, this gets the hell beat out of it. But when you allow it to be, I mean, yeah, they have human rights problems, but when you're getting manipulated from other countries, it's going to happen. But if you remove all of that and just allow it to be peaceful, you'd be surprised what comes out of it. So yeah, Iran seems, it just has it just gets just a major Atlantean vibe from it. So in a positive way, like more of the positive Atlanteans went there, you can say, create a society that wasn't out there for war, just for peace, for comfort, for luxury, for luxury. Of course, others have manipulated it over time. Oh wait, I don't think I spelled relationships right. Well, maybe I did. Who cares? Okay, relationship energies. I'm going to channel that vibration. See what we get from that. And also Pleiadian Society. I was going to channel Pleiadian, or just alien, like Alien Society, but it was going to be connected to, some of it was going to be connected to AI, but I'm not going to do that here, but maybe over time. So I'll probably start doing more of Pleiadian Society, Syrian Society, Arcturian Society, but it has to do with us in the long run. It all comes back to us, and it's not just about them and living paradise life. We're here, in Prison Planet 101. It's about us unlocking ourselves, things like that. So, all right. As for Iran, Atlantis connections, I'll see what I can grab from that. I'm not guaranteed a whole lot from that, and go into relationship energies and so on. So, all right, Michelle, blessings. There's something else in that course. I forgot what it was. I think that was it. Yeah, that's going to have to be it. So, all right, blessings. Here we go. Greetings. We are the Iranian consciousness. Yes, we are of a different world. There is a Atlantean vibration, an Arabic energy of light, of connecting to perfection. We were mastering perfection before we were taken over. The perfect body, yes, more feminine side of life for male and female, and to connect more to its authentic self. You say that was a version of the perfect human that your warrior race, your reptilian race, did not care for, and put into their mind to ruin it and remove it. But it still exists. Iran is a heart of the planet, one of them. It's not here to cause mischief. Of course, this has been taken over by so many different radical refugees. It's seen as a threat. But there's still a lot of values there, a lot of knowledge from the Akashic records of rebuilding society. So Iran found a energy of perfection that can bring paradise to this earth. And Babylon is the same thing. You say Iran is kind of like the modern Babylon in its own form. And there's remnants of Babylon all through their planets. But Iran is definitely a modernized version of it. For sure. Of course, that is why it is mocked by other countries without going into the names of it. Some countries do get arrogant and want to take over. Well, they don't. Reptilian countries are very sensitive to their vulnerabilities, meaning that Iranians can see the vulnerabilities within a reptilian country like Israel. Not the Israel people, but just Israel. The energy of it is very, yes, manipulated by Anunnaki beings and Archon vibrations, of course. But the militarized Anunnaki are very insecure themselves. And they don't like, so that's why they create giants. They create, intimidation. They create weapons to hide their vulnerabilities. They need swords. They need knives. They need missiles to hide how vulnerable they are. Especially when you go into your sexual life to allow more of their true sexuality to come through. Obviously, they don't like that. They want what they're projecting out there to be seen. But when you clear out the manipulations and see what they truly are, obviously, they're not going to care much for that because you see them, the true selves. And that's across the world. Yes, those are the biggest weapons, are usually the ones hiding the most, of course. But it doesn't mean it's all the people. It's those that are with the trigger. Yeah, it doesn't represent the people, not necessarily, no. It's just the groups that are, because most of the people would not want missiles and earth-destroying technologies. Majority would say no. But there's always a few that have, yes, a chip on their shoulder and have a lot of manipulation going through their minds. So, yeah, they're the most, your elite, yes, are the most insecure people on the planet. And they reflect that on society, so you don't see their insecurities. So busy healing your own insecurities that you don't see theirs, because they're not about to fix themselves. They feel like they have no problems. When in truth, they have all the problems. Yeah, some of them are having gender identification problems. Who are they? And these are your higher elites. So, yes, they're going to pull out a missile to hide their true sexual nature. Things like that. That's one example, at least. That shows how vulnerable they truly are. Yeah, they're backwards in their thinking. They're realizing weapons do not work. Now you're going to a psychic nature of things. Back to the old days. weapons or knives, you can use that all day long, but just that has no power anymore. Basically, it's intuition is becoming not the weapon, but the tool of mankind. It's already been used, but now it's going to unlock itself even more, where you see your aliens more clearly when you see everything more clearly. That's the age you're going into. I believe many of you feel that vibration. You are going through energy shift of earth change, and more is to come. Yes, and a lot of it will be alien manipulated, because once again, they have a lot of vulnerabilities. They have a lot of weaknesses they don't want you to see. So yeah, so you connect to some of these alien races, and such as reptilian beings, I find out how weak they truly are. Yes, they can put out a lot of negativity to hide, because when you find out, how sensitive they are and how much they need to, yes, love themselves, which they're not interested in, they'll start popping up across your planet. So you're going in more of identifying the alien beings that are here. And yes, reptile beings, I mean, some of them are truly honest about themselves, but a lot of them are not. So, and they weaponize humanity to hide their issues with each other. Basically, what reptilian beings want, they feel like, yes, races like the Pleiadians are weak because they found a feminine side of them, and they just, because of the Pleiadians, a lot of them being alien beings don't want war, so some of the reptilian beings find that as a weakness. Not all of them see that way, but quite a few of them see that way. So, yes, as you humans evolve, you'll see more of how much you can heal the reptile energy here and see them here. And they don't like to be seen. As you tap into their frequencies, and there they are. They don't like that. So you can see when you're getting close to their frequency as you evolve as a human race. You just evolve gradually, and they just start appearing everywhere. And they see that before you see it. But obviously, that's why psychic attacks are going to increase for some, because that shows that they're hidden. Their days of being hidden are becoming over. That doesn't mean they're going to start popping around soon. Well, it all depends. And within an individual, they're going to start showing themselves. So, but as for Iran connected to Atlantis, of course, we are the breath of Atlantis. We are a part of all cultures to find themselves, to truly allow this true self to come through. That's the Iranian way. Now, Iran's been having to protect itself, has been taken over by many empires of the past. It's not really, it's the core self is there. It's just not always easy to see. Of course, it's seen as hostile. That's only because it's been invaded by hostile forces. It is a peaceful place. Maybe not for everyone because of those that took it over. But when you bring that more peaceful energy in, you'll see it. Yes, the female has been treated poorly there, but that has to do with the invaders. Or just, yes, no, we don't need to go into that. Nonsense. Greetings. We are relationship energies from higher astral. Yes, it's a difficult one. We're surprised we are actually here. Now, I guess we'll just go about and say what's on our minds. A lot of relationships are usually gender swapped, meaning that the male and the female that meets, for a love relationship have been other genders in the past. You have had a gender swap. That's very common. That's one way to get to know each other even deeper. That's why it doesn't always work. So if you're with like you're a female with a male, it's just not working out. Now, if the genders were swapped, most likely it worked out. So you wonder why relationships don't work here. That's one of the reasons. That's not always the case in everything, but a lot of ways that's the way. It's not that it's the answer to everything, but doesn't mean you have to go change your gender. No. But that's why some people become gender lost and things like that. Or just why relationships just suck. It's just, yeah, and people would change, of course, also. But it has a lot to do with just the genders and, in your current relationship, why things are not working. It all depends, once again. But a lot has to do with that. It's just that you're used to being in a different position altogether. And yes, throughout your past, your Earth past, humans are used to marrying their cousins all the time. That's the way it was. I mean, you got to meet somebody, and who's closer but your cousin. So, but usually that's far away enough so where the bloodlines don't get screwed up. Normally, now your elites are pure Anunnaki, normally in that field where they just don't care. Obviously, they care after a while when they start dying off because they just can't survive because the blood is too close to each other. Basically, it was like marrying a brother and sister, basically. Even if they distance themselves from it, it's still not enough. Obviously, they've mastered it quite a bit, but not. It took a long time to master that. Yeah, those were not pretty years for sure within your elites. So, and they use your common person to bring them into the elites, and all of a sudden now you're part of the Illuminati only because you don't have freaks as children anymore. Well, you have normal kids instead of just they live for a couple of days and things like that due to the bloodline. It just did a lot of unhealthy things in their past. So yeah, there's a lot of breeding going on here, as you can see. But as for relationship vibration, it has a lot to do with just self-love. Your society is not taught that. Even when you're born here, a lot of world's alien societies are just number one thing they work on is self-love, of knowing about yourself and exploring that and allowing that to be a natural progression. In your society, obviously, it's how much stuff can you have? How much materialism do you have? Does anybody like you? But other realities is about expressing yourself and being exactly who you are and allowing that true self to come through. As much as possible, society can help you, because some societies feel like they failed a person if they did not help that person achieve who they are. I mean, just their talents. You're always exploring your talent vibrations. It's just a helping hand on other planets. Not all, but quite a few. On your world, obviously, it's been for yourself. Or if you grow up in a family of doctors, prepare to be a doctor. If not, I hope your music career goes very well. Which sometimes it does. And that makes this world very exciting, not easy. It makes it romantic also. Because it has a romantic way of, it's just of the unknown. It's not easy. And that's what makes it attractive. It's backwards. It's nothing cut and dry. Because some of these worlds where you can connect to each other very easily is not always that exciting. Yes, they do keep the excitement going, but for some people, a world like this of the unknown is just more adventurous. It's all the adventure. Even the adventure is this horror movie, especially in a relationship world. And yes, there are beings here that are completely a service to self through mental abuse, physical abuse. Of course, that's we don't want to say it's the Anunnaki way, but some beings are hiding behind Anunnaki energies of justifying their darkness by doing the things they do with human trafficking, things of that kind. There's always a hidden hand within that realm. But your relationship energies is, yes, connecting more about your authentic selves, but the mystery here is nobody knows who they are. And that's the adventure all on its own. And yes, there's divorce. They make it very difficult to, very easy to get with someone. Obviously, getting divorced with someone, it makes it very difficult because they want to keep you with that person forever, as miserable as you might be. Breaking off relationships is just the way it is. In other realities, that's the norm. But you usually keep a connection there anyway. But realize you're part of other societies that are at a higher thinking. The higher vibration is basically just a different form of thinking, basically. And your planet is just, yes, once again, fend for yourself. But as a child, as growing up, you already know where you're heading, basically. Even if you don't know, some like through middle school or high school, they usually kind of figure it out. So at least in the relationship world, where that's going to go. And some of it obviously realize it's not going to work at all. Relationships are here to help humanity through spirituality, and relationships is far. You're having a relationship with humanity, you can say, to help it connect itself, help it find itself. So many that are living a life of a nun or a priest doesn't mean that you are, but you're kind of living that life as one. Basically, a celibate life is basically helping society unite to itself. So yeah, you're a messenger of the spirit world, basically. There's more to it than that, but it's basically keeping, souls together. And many of these souls that are alone doing this is, yeah, it's a long story, basically. Not that important though. So relationship energies basically is, yeah, it's the mystery. That's the attraction. It's hard, but it is worthwhile in the long run, even if it doesn't always seem that way. Well, once again, if you're part of a society where everything is clear and cut and dry and right in front of you, and everyone can figure it, that's exciting. But here is more exciting, and it's more depressing, but it is more exciting because of the unknown. It's so deep here. And yes, it could be a horror movie, but also be paradise. It can be a little bit of everything. Many that get married and get bored with each other. The spark is burned out, but there are inventive ways of keeping that spark going, and that is also a major soul growth. So that's all we have to say on that. It's a short, hopefully helpful message. Greetings to you. We are the Pleiadians. Blessings. Our society compared to yours, yes, I believe it's brought somewhat through your relationship channel. But Pleiadian reality, yes, is a knowing of oneself, but also have a sense of mystery. Because we don't always know where souls come from. Come from an Arcturian reality, a Syrian reality, we don't really know. You've been a dog or a cat from another lifetime, or an AI being. We don't really know until you're born into the world. Sometimes we have conversations with the soul before they incarnate, and that's what you're bringing it into your environment. Basically tapping into the soul before it comes in, and also before the soul leaves. Also, many of you are opening up that doorway, we also are releasing a lot of the reptilian control systems on this planet. Well, reptilian beings are known to just make everything. Now, military reptilian beings, they're just known to make things difficult for everyone. Well, they make it because they want certain souls to incarnate here, only the worthy ones. So in this world, obviously, everyone's worthy, just don't always feel that way. You are getting the sense of what a slave planet looks like and how to heal it. How to heal the slave planet is basically knowing the controllers, what they look like, such as it's not just reptilians doing this, but they're one of the main. There's bird people doing this also. One moment. They are in their right, feel like they're always right. They have a weakness within themselves that some of you actually have seen, which makes it infuriates them even more. Some of you actually try to heal them, and that doesn't go very well either. That's why you get a psychic attack. So people wonder why they get psychic attacks all the time. You'd be surprised. You're here to heal that vibration. You're here to retire the control systems here. And you know exactly. That's why they're around churches. They're around certain places that you might drive by and then get an energy attack. Because that's what you drive by that place all the time to heal that vibration. So it's basically reptilian blood that's here. Yes, it's just a bloodline, as you know. Healing the reptilian bloodline is not going to be easy, but we feel like that's what many of you are here to do. Unlock it from their mysteries, but also expose them on a spiritual level. Yes, your elite, the RH negative, things like that, to allow more of that to come into the light. Even not necessarily take away its power, but basically to know where it came from. As for Pleiadian Society, obviously there's countless societies that we're connected. Normally it's the feminine that is in charge of the family, not always, but quite often. The male is a balance. Both male and female are a balanced vibration. But normally a lot of Pleiadian worlds are female, not controlled, but governed normally. But the male does so many other things where the female cannot. Just a strength. I mean, usually males become more feminine also, and that's where you have a more male leadership on those planets. It's just that when a male is just male and doesn't have much female, usually it creates a dictatorship of some kind. But there's also female worlds where it's mostly female, and then it just has female, and they become a dictator. So you have a little bit of everything. Yin and yang. And some of you come from female planets, and I believe some of you are still having difficulty surviving it. Some of their parents here also that have been leaders of those female worlds. And yeah, that some of you are still healing from that. So the Pleiadian worlds, yes, we also have worlds that are very testy. I mean, we test ourselves a lot. We also have our own genetic engineering, but not like your world. But no, it's about basically for the soul to find a calm side of itself, to just connect to its powers, telekinesis abilities, be able to fly, to be able to just feel free. There are worlds like that. All Pleiadian worlds are like that with quite a few. It's basically just, it's kind of like being an alien being, but you feel like you're in spirit, but you're learning a great deal. You can connect to spirit very often. The spirit world is usually closed off, not entirely, but so you can learn what you're there to learn in that environment, because the spirit being can just tell you everything. That kind of defeats the whole purpose of being there. But there are worlds that are at least 50% or even 75% more positive than your planet. There's also planets that are 95% more positive than your planet. And many of you remember those places. Like vacation worlds. Vacation Pleiadian worlds where a negative reptilian would never have a chance. First off, they can't see it because their light vibrations are so low. And when they do see it, they can't see it because the energy is so bright. They just can't function at a higher vibration. And that can be fourth dimension. It's just a higher frequency of fourth dimension. So this is why so many alien worlds don't get taken over by reptilian realities. It gives you an idea of how that works. Now, not to say all reptilians are bad, far from it. There are reptilians that are very highly evolved. They connected to technologies that other beings can nowhere could ever figure out. But a lot of them are decent beings. But there's also reptilian worlds where they're just insane. There's beasts, but they can also have a lot of creativity where everyone can learn from. So you just have all these different aspects of learning. It's just, there's something to learn from everyone. It's just reptilians are known to go to darkness very easily because that's how they've been designed. But also the Pleiadians have been learned. That's why the human has reptilian in this life so you can connect to your darkness. It's not because reptilian is a high and mighty and all that. It's just because it can go into the lower realm so easily. There are Pleiadian beings that can't do it. With their DNA, they just can't get that. They can get to a certain degree, but nothing like this planet. So you have all these different elements that connect to darkness here. So now you're here to heal it. Yes, darkness from other planets. So not to say that reptilian is bad, far from it. Once again, there's many positive reptilian. There's countless positive. Modern Orion, Alpha Centauri, all over the place. And a lot of them have a good sense of humor also. That's what a lot of humans get their sense of humor is just from them. Of course, you get the more eccentric sense of humor come from the mantis, where they're just crazy beings. But yeah, the reptilian, basically, you're just experimenting with it, of course. But the human's making peace with its darkness now as you go more into the higher frequencies. Now, we feel like many of you are building new timelines for, yes, alien disclosure. You're disclosing within. You might start feeling that more and more as, there's a turn of events happening on your planet. So we just feel you're going to come in, some of you personally. We know it's been mentioned before in the past, but we're going to say it again. Many of you have personal connections to alien beings on a spiritual level. It might, a lot of it be meditation, but some will go a bit further. As you're coming to an age of more spiritual people are going to activate themselves even more and heal the third dimensional blockages on the planet. So you're actually going more up in frequency, even if you don't always see it. That's why some of you are getting energy attacks, of course, because as you get more into the light, the darkness is going to hit you everything that you got. So it shows you are getting somewhere. It's just difficult to see it. So just continue on your path. You'll see it more clearly. As for Pleiadian societies connected to yours, one moment. It's all about, yes, cleaner. We do have foods, of course, but it's very different than yours. It's more, organic energy, but it's not food that's even can be described of what you have here. But it's basically, yes, another energy to elevate the soul. Here, food grounds the person, which is actually necessary for a world like this. I feel like a lot of people eat less meat eventually, not yet. Many of those are go into spiritual directions for sure. Plant life or energy life, many of you become just brethrens. That's most of the future is a brethren person that just connects to energy. That's your future person, really. Because you just don't need food anymore. But also, the telepathic abilities are also going to open up also. So that's what you're here to achieve. So many of you are healing the timelines. Yes, there's going to be dark timelines here that have necessary for growth. But doesn't mean you can't heal from it and continue to move forward. Sometimes an event is necessary to show your world is working things out. You need some kind of event. It doesn't mean it has to be negative, but you need the earth to do something to change. You can't just have just nothing. You need events to make things move around, shift things around, move you to a different location, things like that. No, it's difficult, but remember the world you have that made a contract with reptilian beings, all kinds of dark beings in its past, to know more about itself, to bring us Atlantean vibrations back, and a stronger Atlantis, of course, also. Well, I don't think we're calling it Atlantis again. We call it some other name.